He is personally present here to this program, and also Deputy Director who is attending the program by VC. I, on behalf of media, so warmly welcome to our today's resource person, Srimati Brenda Nandakumar, to this program. She is a MCPC trainer and a mediator serving in our mediation center for the past 17 years. She is going to enlighten us on the topic emotional outbursts in mediation, its prevention and management. And I welcome all our mediators who are present here and to others who are attending through VC. I also welcome the mediators Kalburgi and Dharwad who are present through VC. I request our Honorable Director and our resource person to come on the dais and occupy their seats, please. Sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Honorable Director to present a flower bouquet to our resource person as a gesture of gratitude. Thank you, sir. Now I request our resource person to commence her session. Thank you.
Thank you, Karyappa sir. Ellarigu namaskara. Very happy to be here and address my mediator friends on a topic which I won't say is very dear to us, but it's a topic which we are all very familiar with. Okay, as mediators, and even before we became mediators, we were lawyers, dispute resolution professionals. So emotions is nothing new to us. Over the period of time, we have developed our own strategies how to deal with emotions of our clients or of mediation parties, and basically it is about life. Emotional outbursts can happen to anybody. Even a child can have an emotional outburst. So this being the topic, we the last few CME programs have been very interactive, and I would request all of you to participate, and it will be more a facilitative session. To be nice to share knowledge and information which we have gathered over the period of years. So before we actually begin the presentation, I request Ravi sir to I'll share a small short video. ಏನಪ್ಪ? ಬಂತಾ?
ಸರ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
Yes. Want to see it one side? PPT can start. Yeah, thank you. So what did we see now? Volcano. In Kannada, it is called Jwala Mukhi. It's also called Uri Betta, Jwalamukhi, but it's another word. So this is the fury of the planet. So can anyone define what a volcano is? So basically, these are all the in the core of the planet Earth, which there are lava, there is modified rocks, there is a lot of heat, and the planet Earth needs to release it from time to time. So in the crust, in the planet Earth outer surface, there are these mountains which provide this outlet for all this heat to come out. So can we understand anything from this? Parties? Yes. There is a lot of emotions within the parties, pent up emotions, we say, which need an outlet. And sometimes it may come out automatically, sometimes certain circumstances may trigger such outbursts. So, to understand what emotional outburst is, we have to first see what is emotions. So, I won't go much deep into this topic because I think 2 months ago we had Manu ma'am who spoke about emotions. So, these are the commonly to us describe an emotion is it is a emotion which you feel towards a specific situation or person, and the emotions are what are listed below. This is not an exhaustive list. It is some of the emotions which we commonly see in mediation: anger, sadness, anxiety. Can emotions be only negative? So, positive emotions, you have joy, excitement, love, which can also have an emotional outburst. Like, for example, you take a cricket match. So, where India wins a cricket match, what is the reaction of the fans? You can hear the shouting, screaming, happening, bursting crackers. So, this also has a joyful outburst. But I don't think we will go much deep into the happy emotions because this is not what we see in mediation. So, we will focus on what happens in mediation. So, basically, these are the main emotions which we come across in mediation and which there's an outlet, it forms in certain ways in the person's behavior: anger, fury, resentment, bitterness, hostility, irritability, annoyance. Do we see all this in the parties? Okay, very much. Fear. Fear is a very, very strong emotion. There's always a fear of what is going to happen or what will not happen. So, when a party is fearful of something, there is anxiety, worry, tension. It is not only in mediation parties, it's also among all of us. There are times we go through these phases in life. Sadness. Sadness may happen after a tragedy of something which has happened and which they have not agreeable, which has made them. So this can result in depression, hopelessness, heartbreak. For lady, it is a marriage is breaking down. There's a lot of heartbreak, right? And there's fear of loneliness, hopelessness. This is something which we also see in the parties. When they come, they feel that nothing is going to work. They are very pessimistic about the whole thing. Disgust, repulsion, aversion, contempt. The parties feel disgusted by the other side to such an extent that they don't even want to sit in the same room. We don't even want to be in the same room as this person. We want to move out. And there are some cases which can go to the extreme that they don't even want to appear on the same day. You can see this in their reactions. They're so anxious, so much agitated, and this is called repulsion. It could be because of something what the other side did that they don't want to see. Frustration, this is also very common. Aggravation, impatience. When parties are frustrated, they have tried all the methods possible, but they're not able to resolve this dispute. Then they can become impatient. Why do I need mediation? I don't think this is going to work. So this kind of ways, different emotions will manifest during mediation. So coming back to the volcano, so this is exactly what happens in mediation. Pent up emotions come to the fore when parties start narrating their cases. To put it in a very simple manner, it's a sudden, intense, and uncontrollable display of interest. It can happen suddenly. The parties also may not be aware. It may be something which they are not consciously doing. It's something which is beyond their control, and it is intense. So when we talk about emotional outbursts, there's some amount of eruptions which keep happening, right? Parties will cry, it is there. But emotional outburst is something which is very intense and which can be very harmful to the process of mediation. So some of the emotional outbursts we see is crying, sobbing. So this is sadness, grief, depression, which comes out in the form of crying. There's another form of emotional outburst is aggression, display of aggression. Verbal aggression could be shouting, screaming, raised voices. This is something also very common we see in mediation. Physical aggression. What is physical aggression? People are talking. I'm not saying this is only in mediation, it can happen anywhere. Okay, it can happen within a discussion with our colleagues, it can happen in our houses, anywhere. Slamming doors, banging table, change in posture. And the worst form of physical aggression is hitting or any kind of physical assault. So, what are the types of cases where we can expect to see an emotional outburst? Matrimonial, what else? Partition, yes. G and custody, yes. Even in commercial matters, everywhere. Money suits, workplace suits, yes. Yes. So, matrimonial cases top the list. And then partition cases. Conflict between brothers, dispute between brothers and sisters, property. Money and property is again a very sensitive issue. Suits by partners, neighbors, defamation cases. There's already an emotional or physical injury, and these cases are very high on conflict and emotions. Last but not least, it can happen in any and every case. It can be a simple money suit, it can be a landlord tenant case, in any case, because do we agree and say there are emotions in every case? Now we went through the emotions. The emotion may not be anger, it may be fear. Fear that my tenant is not going to pay me the rents. He is not going to vacate. I'm going to lose so much of money. So there's anxiety, isn't it? So in any case, simple money recovery suit, what if he does not pay the money? I need the money urgently for my daughter's marriage. So there is anxiety, fear in every case, and this emotional outburst can happen. It can be taken the mediator by surprise. It can happen in any case. So the next question: who are the people likely to have an emotional outburst? Y- Anyone? Is it only the plaintiff and defendant? No. It can be even the third parties, sometimes even the lawyers. It can happen to anyone. So the logic behind this is it is a party centric process. Now the parties are in a very secure position. The power of decision making is in their hands. So they are normally more cool, but a third party may not be a party in the cause title. His name is not reflected in the cause title, but he is a very much an interested party. Now take a matrimonial case, the divorce case between husband and wife. The mother-in-law and father-in-law, are they interested parties or not? So when the matter either ends in a reunion or a divorce, they are also very much affected. Especially, they will say if supposing she has filed a dowry harassment and she has sent them both to jail, they have a terrible fear. What if she does it again? So we cannot ignore the third parties. We cannot say this is a party centric process, so you have nothing to say. So they also need to be addressed. It can sometimes happen with the lawyers also. If there is a clash between two lawyers, for some reason they're not able to, or it could be a party and a lawyer, something which has happened in the past. So these people who are likely to be in emotional powers can be anybody. It is not only the parties. So in extreme cases, it can result in a physical assault. Verbal aggression. Supposing they say use a bad word or some foul language, how will it affect the mediation process? It will. It will abort. What is the harm which can be caused to the mediation process? Barriers, hmm, impasse, hmm, totally stop the process. Yes, it can totally derail the mediation process. It's like a train. A train is running smoothly from Bangalore to Mysore. Suddenly, it can go off the track and derail. So, we mediators, we cannot predict when it can happen. So, this can hold the entire efforts put by the mediator will go waste. So, this emotional outburst is something which can cause, which can stop the process. It can create emotional barriers, so parties have started to communicate. So once something like a use of a bad word or raising his hand, it will create an emotional barrier to the communication and negotiation later. The parties will not want to communicate. He's insulted me, so why should I negotiate with him? I don't want to. He'll say I'll go back to court. Of course, it leads to impasse because for that moment at least the parties will not even come to the negotiation table. Conflict escalation. So, what is the objective of mediation? Conflict resolution. There is one of the very important ethical principles of mediation which says, do no harm. So, in mediation, even if it does not result in a settlement, it does not matter. But it should not result in an escalation where the parties go back worse than what they were before. It can cause irreparable damage. If there is especially a physical assault or some kind of an insult, it can create damage where the parties will never want to come back to mediation. So, all of us agree that mediation, emotional outbursts can be not a positive, it can be a very negative to mediation. So, as mediators, what do we do about it? Anyone would like to answer how can media outbursts be prevented? Yeah, that is when it happens. Before it happens, like there is a saying with the medical medicine world, they say prevention is better than cure. So it's always better to prevent a disease than dealing with when it comes. Having said that, nobody can prevent cancer or blood pressure or whatever. When it has to happen, it will happen. But by leading a healthy lifestyle, we can prevent the ailments. Same way, though it is not in the mediator's hands, the mediator doesn't know what the parties are, what are the emotions involved, how are they going to react. But there are certain steps we can take as mediators to see these outbursts do not happen or at least control. So, our main objective of mediator in preventing outbursts is helping the parties to move from feeling to thinking. So they have to, if there has to be a negotiation, if there has to be a resolution, they have to start thinking. I think there was a wonderful presentation done by Lata ma'am where she spoke about decision making. So, what is mediation? It is about decision making. The parties are trying to arrive at a decision. The only thing is here, it requires a collaborative joint effort of both the parties. One party cannot make a decision. Okay. And the mediator has a role to play in this. Very much so. Okay. If the parties could decide on their own, why would they need mediation? So here the mediator has a role to play in how he helps the parties in arriving at a decision. And in this, one of the main job which a mediator has is to address emotions. So let us see how we can. So the first, what we can do as mediators to keep the emotions under check, to keep it under control, not to let it come out as an outburst. One is conducive environment. So this is what we do in the first stage one, isn't it? Welcome, seating. When we welcome, and when we welcome with a smile, what happens? What is the response of a party who's very agitated? He calms down. So basically, we need to calm down the parties. Seating. So, one thing about the mediation process is it is so beautifully designed. It takes the parties gently in a step by step process. We don't go directly to solutions. We don't go directly. If you go directly to solutions, it will. So, it takes them. First, it makes them comfortable, makes them address their emotions, and then goes to negotiation. Seating. So, what is the seating? I mean, all of us are familiar. We make them seat on opposite sides. At no point in time, even one party from that side should be seated on the other side, because the very presence of the other party will make this party very agitated. Introduction. So when we ask the parties to introduce themselves, what do we say normally? So how do you ask the parties to introduce themselves? Yes, you ask them a little more about themselves. Your name, where are you staying? So what happens in the court? In the court we call them plaintiff, defendant, pw1, pw2. We don't address them by name. Here you're giving a name to the person. So that itself will make them feel welcome, make them feel comfortable. And of course, the mediator's introduction, lawyer's introduction, the lawyers also feel it's just basically to make them feel welcome, to make them feel that they are important. Then mentioning the principles. Now we all know what the principles are, but how will these principles help in calming down the parties? When we talk about voluntariness, what do we say? This is totally ಯಾವ್ದು ಬಲವಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ, force ಇಲ್ಲ. You're taking the decision out of your own free will. When we say that, what is the effect on the parties? They're happy. They know that they're not going to be forced. So one thing we must realize is when parties come to mediation, they come with lot of misconceptions. They think mediation is another court. They think mediator is a judge. So he is going to judge them. So when we say there is no force, you come here, voluntarily you participate, and voluntarily you decide. Right of self determination. You are the persons who are going to decide. When we say that, party's reaction, again, he feels comfortable. Okay. Neutrality. When we say, I am not related to either of you, I have no interest in subject matter. Whatever you decide is okay by me. So, this also will help the parties feel comfortable. Okay, madam is going to be neutral. Confidentiality, when you tell them that whatever they say is not going to be recorded. So, what is the response of the parties? More free to participate. So, they'll come up with all their whatever hidden, whatever agendas which they wouldn't want to talk to others. Impartiality, non binding nature. It doesn't matter if after a few sessions you do not want to settle the case, you can go back. So there is no compulsion to settle. So all this has the effect of calming down, bringing the temperature down. Ground rules. How important are ground rules? One party talks, no cross talks. So they know, okay, I can now talk safely in front of my opponent. He is not going to interrupt me. I will be able to speak freely without his interruption. No harsh language. Again, this also has to, okay, now I'm safe in this mediation. We cannot use harsh language. We cannot use any kind of bad words or anything which is going to aggravate the matter. So the parties feel safe. When do these media sessions happen? Outbursts happen? Does it happen in private sessions or joint sessions? So, in cases where the parties themselves will tell you, I don't want to talk here, that itself is a signal to the mediator. Move to private sessions because maybe the emotions are so high or her trust levels are so low that she cannot speak in front of other side. So one is creating a safe space. The mediation process itself takes care of creating the safe space. The mediator's role, identify the emotions. Now again, I've always been saying active listening, verbal language and non-verbal language. The words, when the parties talk, they can say it in a very simple words. He owes me so much of money. Or he can say, this man owes me, he is not paid. Add a lot of sentences where it shows the intensity of conflict. The way the sentences are framed, the way the words are used, all give a clue to the mediator that what is the level of emotions, what is the intensity of conflict. Non-verbal language, tone, volume, speed. raised voices. When the conflict emotions are high, the voices automatically go up. It is something again involuntary. Speed. People tend to speak fast when they are upset. Face again, color, changing red, eye movements, lip movement, suddenly getting up. The party is sitting so far in a mission, suddenly he gets up. Now, this is a clue that the next step will be something very drastic. So, it's the clue to mediator to immediately break into a private session. Identifying the triggers. There are certain issues which are itself, by its own nature, is a trigger. Adultery to cause so much of pain to the husband or wife, bigamy again, child paternity in question. This is again a very sensitive issue. Defamation cases are, of course, very sensitive. Dowry harassment. If the mother and mother, father, sister, brother have all been arrested, the emotions are going to be very high. It also shows a high level of conflict. So here the issues are sensitive. Then hostility between the parties, lawyers, third parties. So very often you can see in the joint session where is the hostility. Is it between the plaintiff and defendant, or plaintiff and third party, or is it between the lawyer and the defendant? So it's very obvious. Very times parties themselves will tell you. So in this, all this is a clue to the mediator as to how he should conduct the mediation process. Presence of third parties is a trigger or not? So very often the parties themselves will tell you, I will not participate if that person is here. So here you know also when and where you can expect an emotional outburst. Power imbalance. One party is very aggressive, the other party is very docile. Hmm? Or he comes with a battery of people and the other parties just come alone. So all this creates a power imbalance which can lead to aggression, which can lead to emotional outbursts. So all these techniques I will not go through because you know it very well. Restating is to repeat what the parties are saying in order to show that you have understood. So when the parties feel that, yes, the mediator has heard me, again, he feels the calmness. Demonstrate empathy to show your empathy, to understand the problem from the perspective of the party, not from our own perspective. Reflection, to reflect the emotions. Okay, you are disappointed, you're hurt. So when we say this, then the parties again feel happy that they have been heard, the emotions have been acknowledged. Questions, this is very, very important. Ask more questions. Not when they're narrating. Yes, we have to listen without interrupting, but ask questions to find out the depth of the conflict, the intensity of the conflict, and where and how it started, and how many people are involved, how many issues. The issue before the mediator or the court may be just partition, but there may be so many other issues. It may not be only about property and money. So when we get more and more information, it is clarity in communication, clarity information. This also helps in sort out misunderstandings and to calm down. Reframing is a technique. Again, it is to move them from the problem to solutions. Parties are always talking about problems. Negativity creates stress. So when you speak about solutions, the parties move from negative to positive. So all these communication techniques, where should we use them? Private or joint? No, these techniques, reflection, reframing, most of these techniques, it's better to use in the private session, because any kind of understanding we show will be seen as partiality by the other side. Okay. So in joint session, whenever you feel there is going to be an emotional outburst, keep the joint sessions very, very brief, or even skip the joint sessions if necessary. Move to private sessions. Lawyers can help. A lawyer being seated next to a party itself will make the party feel safe. It's a moral support. So when we see that this case, there is a possibility of emotional outburst, we can request the lawyers, please accompany your client on for every session. And also we can say, even in the hall when they are sitting, please keep them far away from each other. So these are little tips which we can take as mediators where we can prevent a potential outburst. So having said all this, having taken all these precautions, is there 100% guarantee that the emotional outburst will not happen? It can be prevented, but it can still happen. Why? Let's go back to that first picture of the volcano. There are two types of volcanoes, isn't it? There are so many types of volcanoes, but let us talk about the two types. One is the active volcano, and the one is the dormant volcano. The active volcano is something which keeps living out this little bits of fire now and then. So we know that this volcano is going to burst. There's another volcano which is very calm and very silent. It will not give any indication, but will suddenly result in an outburst. Okay, so these are factors which me as mediators, it's difficult to foresee. Then there's another case where are all emotional outbursts natural, spontaneous? It can be sometimes planned. Parties can come with this agenda of, okay, I'm come to mediation. This is a chance for me to say what I want to say to the other side, or even resort to some kind of violence. So, in all these cases, also, the mediator cannot foresee this emotional outburst, and mediation, emotional outbursts can happen in spite of all the precautions which we take. So, what is mediator's role? Now, all of you have attended so many cases, and I'm sure all of you have had this experience, right? Is there anyone who has not had this experience of emotional outbursts? Put up the hands. Okay. So, what are your suggestions? How to handle emotional outbursts? Listen to them. Okay. Empathy. Okay. Okay. Huh.
Break for a coffee or something,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
huh,
Hmm.
or go for a caucus.
Huh.
So either way,
Yeah.
set them for a coffee, take for a few minutes.
Changing the topic.
Yes.
Okay. Hmm. Remind them about the ground rules. Yes. Ask them positive moments. Yes. See, this can be as a prevention also. That's a very good suggestion. Speak to them about the good days when the brothers and sisters were having a good relationship, when they were living in the parents' house. What were the experiences? Or the husband and wife when they got married. We see all the pictures, no? In our mediation, the marriage pictures are full of smiles. Okay, so these positive experiences can bring positivity. So here, the first thing you do, okay, suddenly they have started screaming, shouting, or started hitting each other, or started getting up. So, what is the first thing we have to do? I mean, as long as not resorted to physical violence, we remind them of the ground rules in a gentle and but firm manner. I know mediators, we always have to be gentle, but there's sometimes firmness is also required. If you feel the parties are not listening, then it is best to immediately shift to private sessions, move them. There is there's no question of taking the risk. Okay. The next is conduct subsessions is very important. Like I said earlier, it's not always the plaintiff and defendant who have problems. It could be the third parties. So always do not ignore or neglect a third party. Do not say you are not a party to this case. Have a maybe 1 hour of private session with them. Find out what their interest is, how their interest is being affected. So in this way, if the third party is able to, we are able to address his emotions, then the plaintiff and defendant will also more chances of resolving the dispute. Then allow further venting. What is venting? Like that volcano to bring it out. So always the first private session which we do with parties is venting, right or not? So how much time do you think we should give for the first private session and venting? Depends. Yes. So it again depends from case to case. In some cases, more venting is required. What happens when a party vents out his emotions? Calm. Uh, Opening. Yes, thanks. Now, it is like, for example, I have gone somewhere, eaten some food, and there is food poisoning. So, what does the body do? It throws it out. In order to function normally, the body throws out the food because it knows this food is not good for the stomach or body. Similarly, negative emotions and thoughts are poison to the mind. Okay. So, as long as these negative emotions and thoughts are there, parties' minds will not function. They will not be ready for negotiation. So, this is where venting helps. Allow them to talk, listen without interrupting, only with once in a while to ask relevant questions or to show empathy. Just allow them to talk without judging, without saying you're right or wrong, may have trying to justify what happened. Maybe it happened because your husband may have felt this way. Do not try to take sides and do not justify. Then have a private session, gather more and more information. Always more information results in a more chances of a settlement. Information is very important for resolution. And as someone said, take a long break. So if there has been a very severe emotional outburst, give it time. Give it a 1 week's time or 10 days time. Go home, think about it, and come back. So when they have time to think about it, they will look at the whole problem in a different way. So communication is the same as there's again a repetition. The last we say use of apology. When emotions are very high, it is because of certain hurt, hurt feelings. So apology can help. Even if there's an emotional outburst in the during the mediation process, an apology can bring it back. It would have created an impasse. Parties would have gone back saying, I will not come for mediation. But apology again is a topic by itself. It's a long topic. It can happen only when the parties voluntarily come up and say, I want to apologize, voluntarily feel I have done something wrong and I regret having done it. It cannot be suggested or advised. Any other strategies which you would like to discuss? Anyone would like to discuss the experiences in handling emotional outbursts? Okay. So there are some certain general do's for guidelines for mediators. It's always better to be prepared. So before every session, we know what has happened in the last session. What was the reaction of the parties? What were the areas of dispute? What was that which is troubling the parties? So make your notes before every session so that we come prepared. Of course, in every day we handle more than 3 to 4 cases. So having these notes, being prepared for it, will also help the parties mediator be prepared for a situation like this. Setting the agenda. How do we set an agenda? So, what are the points we list out for all the issues which they have taken? Supposing it's a partition case, it'll be maybe Schedule A property, which is residential property, then the commercial property, then the fixed deposit. Then it can be also some issue like a very small minor issue, but which is troubling them a lot. So, when we set the agenda for every session, which is the issue which we should take up first? The non controversial issue. Okay. Now, take in the case of a matrimonial case, there is the issue of divorce, custody, maintenance, maybe jewelry, etc. Parties may have resolved their differences with respect to some issues, but with some issues they're very competitive. They would be very, maybe the lady might be accommodative with respect to my maintenance, but with respect to custody, it will be a very sensitive issue. So, what we can do? How can we list the issues in an agenda? Take that last. Let the parties get settled down in the mediation process. Let them bring in positivity. Let them start having hope, optimism, and then you come back to the last controversial issue. So this is again can prevent emotional outbursts. Time management. What is time management? in mediation. So supposing, say, we have a case today. The first case is listed at 12 o'clock. And what time should we be here in the mediation center? How would it help for the mediator? So what we should understand also is the mediator is also human, right? We also have our tension, stress, work stress, everywhere. So it is also very important for the mediator to have a calm state of mind, right or not? When the mediator is calm, immediately it reflects on the parties. Parties also become calm. It's a kind of without knowledge, they quietly imitate the body language of the mediator. So if I have a mediation listed at 12, it helps to come here by 11:30. So that we avoid this. We come here, we forget about our court cases, we forget about our problems at home, come here with an open mind, sit in the mediator's lounge, have a cup of coffee. All this can help the mediator have a calm state of mind, and this can also help in prevention of occurs. So, calm state of mind of the mediator. I'm not talking about the parties here. It is the mediator. So, what should we be? A calm state of mind, is it something which we can purchase or something which we can acquire? It is something we need to keep working on. It is a calm state. In a calm state of mind, will always produce good results in any profession, in any activity we do. Even if it's a simple activity like cooking or driving, we need a calm state is very much essential. And in mediation especially, we are like literally we have been pushed into the battleground with two warring parties, whether it's mediation or as a profession as a lawyer. So our state of mind is very important, and this can reflect in the parties. So which means we have to be free from anger. Now I cannot have a say fight with my auto driver or taxi driver and in the same mood come and do mediation. Give some time for you, us, the mind to settle down. Hunger. How many of you have tried mediating on a hungry stomach? Failed. How will you solve it? Okay, you can't come out of the mediation room, but you're hungry. So how? These are all simple tips, but which can go a big way. So okay, never mediate on a hungry stomach because your body is not going to listen. And if your body is distressed, your mind is also distressed. There's a connection between the body and the mind. But as you said, continuously we are doing mediation, we are not able to get up. It's lunch hour, past lunch hour. So how do we deal with this issue?
Madam, one question.
Hmm.
One question, madam.
Yes. Somebody there wants yeah.
Here, madam. One
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
ಒಂದು 6 months ಬ್ಯಾಕ್
Huh.
ನಿಮ್ ಮುಂದೆನೆ ಒಂದು ಮೀಡಿಯೇಷನ್ ನಡೀತದೆ.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking there. Sorry. Okay.
ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಆಯ್ತು, ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ಹೊಡೆದಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ವಿಲ್ಸನ್ ಗಾರ್ಡನ್ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ FIR ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅಡ್ವೊಕೇಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಡಲ್ಲೇ ಹೊಡೆದಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ.
Yeah. See, that's what happened. When the emotional outburst happens, that is why we must try to prevent it. But as I said, 1 minute. Can I have your attention, please? We cannot predict it. We can try our best to prevent it. It can still happen because we don't know the history. In that particular case, there was a history of conflict between the lawyer and the party. She has been irritating him or some kind of aggravation. So here is something we can. When it happens, the best thing to do is to move into private sessions, or even in the worst scenario, lock them in separate rooms till the police come and handle it. This is I'm talking about an extreme case. Okay. So hunger is something, but in between, if you have to, like she said, you please can request the parties, we need a break. Or if you can have some that what you call nutri bars in your bag and you can use it, that also is okay. And worry. If we are worried about some case in the court, in the high court or criminal court, which is posted for judgment, you're worried about whether my client is going to get bail or not. Can we mediate? Better to, if any, or it could be a relative or close relative who is in the ICU. In such cases and all, we cannot mediate and our irritability will show. And this is not going to help the clients. Any kind of pains, aches, stomachache, toothache, headache, is also detrimental to the mediator's state of mind, which will in turn affect the party's state of mind. The other issue, settlement pressure. What is settlement pressure? As lawyers, we always have this winning pressure. I must win the case. We are worried. Every time the case is posted for judgment, we are worried. We don't know what is going to happen. Similarly, mediators, there can be a settlement pressure. Will this matter settle or not? Such high emotions, such high conflict. So we're worried whether the matter is going to settle or not. This settlement pressure to be removed from our mind, it does not matter. We do our best. Whether parties are settle or not, it's left to the parties. Okay. So these things we can try to in order to ensure that we have a calm state of mind. These are some of the guidelines. Next, these are general don'ts for mediation. We cannot at any time ignore the emotions or feelings. Emotions or feelings are there, whether we like it or not. And we have to address these emotions. We cannot say feelings will not solve the problem. Anger will not solve the problem. This is like preaching. What will happen? The party will get even more aggravated. Scolding. Should we scold somebody who raises his voice? No. This also we cannot do because, first of all, they're adults and they are in a state of mind, they are under pressure. So, this kind of things will also have a negative effect on the parties. Judging. No, you are right, you are wrong. You're wrong in feeling this. So, these are general general guidelines for mediators, but which will especially help in the preventing an emotional outburst. Giving opinions. Can we give our opinion when the party is under? Sometimes we may think that it is going to solve the problem, but it will not solve the problem. Giving an opinion on the case or the person will not. Similarly, do not advise, do not preach. Having said all this, can emotional outbursts be productive in mediation?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. How it can be productive? Very good. So truth will come out faster. Correct. What are the other benefits? As long as it doesn't go into an extreme case of beating each other or hitting one another, what are the benefits?
Better ideas
Hmm.
and positive with the energy they will contribute.
Hmm.
That's the advantage. They will be, that means they have already got a faith in the mediation and mediator also.
Hmm. Hmm.
So they will be contributing.
So, an emotional outburst, provided it is not created any damage, can help in relieving the party of pain or any kind of strong negative emotions. It can also help us, mediator, understand what are the real issues. At the first instance, we only have an understanding of the case, what the dispute is. But when parties have these kind of emotional reactions, which helps us understand what are the real issues, what are the real needs, what is that they want, what is troubling them. So this is where a mediation process, an emotional outburst can be a asset to the mediation or productive, provided it is not taken to the extreme level. In mediation, if we do not address the conflict, the dispute will never be resolved. It is like that iceberg model, Titanic, where the captain hit the iceberg and there was an accident because he only saw the tip, he did not see the iceberg under the ocean. So same here in mediation. If we focus on the dispute, it will go on. It will go on for any number of sessions with no hope of resolution. If we need to address the conflict, we have to go deep into the matter, and this emotion allow the parties to express the emotions, but at the same time maintaining the decorum. So, any questions?
So, ma'am,
No questions.
yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. Hmm.
So you said emotional
Ah.
outburst.
Hmm.
Emotional outburst is negative. Or
Okay.
don't you think it can be dual, both negative as well as positive? Because there are instances when parties vent out their emotions.
Positive.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Parties vent out their emotions. They are in a position to peacefully think
Hmm.
and take a decision by themselves.
Yeah.
And there are cases, many cases, where we have seen after an emotional outburst,
Ah.
parties have come with terms for settlement. There
Ah.
are many reunions happened after outburst.
Emotional outburst.
It has proved many a times that a party who is silent.
Hmm.
It is always better to have a party who goes on an outburst
Hmm.
than a party who sits silent.
Yes. See, outbursts are again of different degree. It's like the volcano. It can be minor interruptions. It can be a major interruptions. As long the interruptions are minor, it helps the party to express themselves. Then it can help in resolving the dispute. Yes, but because the parties get a better understanding of each other, right? But if it is very major, then it can be destructive. Like we said, it is. Yes. Any question? That's what the conclusion says. Any questions? Yeah.
Ma'am, I think in the joint session, if this happens, that may give the clarity to the other side also.
Hmm.
That is good, because the person may not be knowing that what was passing in the other person's mind for several years,
Hmm.
and this is the first time that person has expressed. So that is also good.
Yes. We come to know, because what happens in most cases is the communication has totally stopped. Parties have stopped communicating with each other. They don't even know what is on each other's mind. So, joint sessions can help. However, where the mediator senses that this is a case which can result in a severe emotional outburst, better not to have joint sessions. Sometimes, even at the stage of agreement, we cannot have a joint session. This is again for the mediator to feel the pulse of the parties and act accordingly. Any more questions? No questions. Yeah. Yeah. Any questions from Kalburgi and Dharwad? No questions? Okay. So I take it that all your doubts are cleared, but there is no end to learning. In this process, we will keep learning more and more. We can expect outbursts, and we'll also develop our strategies. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
Half our friends have left. So I know you all are impatient to leave. So thank you, Brinda, for such a wonderful interactive session. A lot of learning today. Thank you to our director, sir, deputy director, who's joined in from the High Court, all our mediators from Kalburgi and Dharwad, and a big thank you to all my mediator friends over here and to our staff for helping us conduct this session. Thank you.